certified G-Way members who literally were during this time out sliding in the streets of Toronto.
The Toronto police say there's recently been a resurgence of the once notorious gang. And the young thugs who are running G-Way these days, just like their predecessors, are packing firearms and they're not afraid to use them.
In particular, two of these would be the guys I mentioned earlier, Adham and Ramon, and these guys, well, you'll see. That takes us to September 4th, 2011. By this point, the G-Way vs. Orton Park beef has split up most of Toronto, basically causing two sides to the city. For most people, this would be really bad news, but for G-Way, they were happy because now they had more people to slide on. And on this day, Ramon happens to see somebody who they just started beefing with post their location at a local Domino's. So literally for no reason at all, Ramon and Adham hop in their car and go slide to the Domino's. At 5:30, they spin around the block to see if they're still there, and unfortunately they have no squabbling on their minds. Instead, at 5:45, they stop their car outside and they start absolutely dumping into the Domino's.
That's just ridiculous, bro.
Glass shatters everywhere and everyone jumps down to the ground to take cover. 3 men are injured in the incident, but thankfully they survive after being rushed to the hospital.
I'm gonna keep it a stack, but I don't know if these niggas are more dangerous. It seems like they're more reckless. Like, what the fuck? They just randomly, like, them niggas could not even be there. Not to be trying to rank, like, criminal violence, but nigga, at least get the niggas that you trying to target down. What the fuck? You just shooting up dominoes. Them niggas could have been left. That could have been an old post. Dude, these niggas not on social media works. I'm confused, bro.
Still though, this was an absolutely insane.
Sit down, right there, don't go nowhere, little baby gon' shake that, 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 shake, yeah, I like that, bring that, right here, sit down, right there, don't go.
Welcome back, we back with another reaction video. Today we're back to part 2 of Swamp Stories, Drake's Evil Street Life, the mini OVO murders revealed, and why Kendrick should be terrified. Again, the title is clickbait than a motherfucker. Bro, them niggas is sugar. Like, niggas is pie, nigga. Like, I'm telling you, like, let's get right into it.
Only is top 5 a struggle rapper and raw basketball player, but he's also a known stepper for a dangerous Toronto gang. This would be the Go Get 'Em gang, also known as GGG, a wicked crew of crash outs that's upcoming in the streets. Basically, they claim 3 neighborhoods as their own: Jane, Lawrence Heights, and Driftwood, an area known as the Jungle. And for those who aren't familiar, this is pretty much the worst area of Toronto, known for all the blah, blah, blah. Well, once Drake learns of this, he starts watering at the mouth. Please get me in contact with top 5. I need to talk to him. I heard he's a stepper and his gang is full of crash outs. Please get me in contact with them. So just like that, Drake brings top 5 into OVO and adopts him as one of his crew members. And immediately he even shouts his hood out with a song called Jungle. So if you didn't know what that was about, now you do.
I am Drake Shooter. You don't know Broski's in the Broski's in Drake's body.
I'll do it today, don't worry.
He's the starting
dumbass
shooting
all
guard,
over top of his face,
and on top of this, Drake would constantly shout out top 5 on Instagram, completely elevating his status. Now obviously adding top 5 in GGG to OVO's arsenal did help their street muscle, but it also put them in the middle of a brutal gang war. And this would only add to the list of Toronto gangs who hate Drake by association. So yes, while it was more street muscle for Drake, it was also more ops added to the list. Yes, at this time, GGG were at it with the Falstaff Crips, a dangerous gang claiming 3 projects on Falstaff Avenue. As you'll see, this beef is wicked, and if you don't believe me, that takes us to GGG's very first skit. May of 2015. It's a regular day in the life of a Falstaff Crip member named Shamarky Wyatt, also known as Marky Bands. Marky is known in Toronto for stepping on his rivals, particularly GGG, and stacking his money up. Basically, he's a rich crash out who allegedly did a lot of damage to GGG. So much damage that he figured that it would be best to leave Toronto and to lay low for the rest of time. And when I say leave Toronto, I don't mean going to a suburb or even a city in the vicinity. Instead, Marky moved to the furthest possible place he could while staying in Canada. That takes us to the small town of Fort McMurray, one of the most northern and remote towns on Earth. 5 hours away from the nearest city, this town is not for the weak. On top of this, it has a subarctic climate, meaning in long, blistering winters where the temperatures range from -20 to 5 degrees. A town where you won't see the sun for months on end, and doctors warn that if you stand outside for more than 30 seconds, you can get frostbite and hypothermia. So yeah, this is where marquee bands moved, all in order to allegedly duck GGG. It would take over 28 hours of brutal driving from Toronto to reach him, so realistically, it's not realistic. However, GGG was serious about getbacks, so making this long trip was not out of the question.
Hell no. Yeah, I'm not driving 37 hours to catch a bike.
And on May 24th, 2015, a group of GGG members decide to make the trip. For 2 days, they stay on the road with nothing but revenge on their minds. The long trip through various provinces finally comes to an end on May 26th around 3 in the morning. And as soon as they arrive, they waste no time at all, as somehow they know exactly where Marky Bands lives. Probably a female. So at 4 in the morning, after getting food from the gas station, they mask up, blick up, and head to his apartment. At 4:15, the members stop their car in front of his building, and 3 of them get out and walk up to his unit. They knock on his door hard and wake him up out of his sleep. Obviously, Marquis thinks it's some sort of emergency, so he goes to open up the door. And right there, that's when he's met with the masked up GGG members.
I'm grabbing chop off break.
This was truly Mission Impossible. In no way, shape, or form did Marquee Bands ever expect them to come that far to get him. GGG were proving to be a different breed, and this is who Drake was now running with. Thankfully though, just 2 weeks later on June 8th, GGG would be raided in Toronto, and what police would find would shock them. They found millions of dollars cash in their stash house, along with a whole lot of straps. And after running the ballistics on these weapons, police were able to tie the 4 GGG.
Millions of dollars? Why the hell y'all dressing like y'all broke then? Well, actually that makes sense. Because you don't want the police to know you have millions of dollars. But nigga, y'all niggas ain't on businesses?
Members to 4 separate deadly shootings between May 12th and May 26th. These dudes were wicked, and thankfully they were taken off the streets forever. But again, this is who Drake was publicly running with. You know, just reminding you of that. But either way, for Falstaff, this was their biggest loss, as Marquis was their top dog. So now, of course, they desperately wanted revenge on GGG. However, for the meantime, that was simply impossible. The 4 responsible members were now locked up, and top 5, he was out in Calabasas with Drake. Basically, Falstaff had nobody left to target, as top 5 was out with Drizzy Drake living his best life. Well, eventually, Falstaff would get frustrated and begin resulting to the worst possible revenge. At this point, GGG are full of themselves and they think that they're completely untouchable. I mean, in the streets they caught 4 consecutive bodies, and outside of it they're running with Drake, so obviously they feel like they're on top of the world. Oh, and not to mention that the members who didn't get indicted are pretty much all in LA living around Drake. So in their minds, they pretty much exited the beef with Falstaff. It's like, you can't reach us, and the members who did something, well, they're all in jail. Well, Falstaff was not okay with this, and basically they were like, come back to Toronto to beef, or we're gonna target somebody very close to you. And that introduces us to Top 5's little brother by the name of Saeed Ali, also known as Foolish. Unlike Top 5, Foolish was not interested in the streets at all. Instead, he was all about basketball. He was a great player in high school and college, and after graduating, he dedicated his time to making sure his youngest brother could make it to the league. Yes, Top 5 and Foolish's youngest brother was so good that he broke Canada's all-time high school record.
Hoop dreams are coming true in Toronto after a high school basketball player hit rare air. Point guard Ahmed Ali led his team to victory this week, becoming just the 2nd Canadian player ever to score more than 100 points in a game. Ahmed Ali of the John Poliani CI Jaguars is joining me now in studio. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. That was a night I can't forget.
Was the adrenaline just pumping?
Like, I was in the zone. Like, I don't... When my family was there too, and like the neighborhood, like I consider them family, and I don't know what to say. Like, I was out of words, and I seen them cheering every shot I was hitting.
So yeah, Foolish was dedicating his time to helping his little brother, and this was his excuse to not be in the streets or involved with GGG at all. But sadly, after Top 5 and the GGG members would leave Toronto, Foolish would become the next biggest target. July 30th, 2017.
Okay, I understand that you was, you know what I'm saying, but nigga, why would you not go with your brother? You should know that you're gonna be a target. Go with your brother. Also, take your little brother. It's way better hoop systems in LA than it is in Toronto. No offense to all the Canadian hoopers. I know some buckets in the NBA, but nigga, it's not more than that came out of LA. You're just crazy. It's not even a debate.
It's a quiet Sunday night as Foolish is walking to his local market like any other night. He walks to the market, buys a bag full of groceries, and then turns around and begins walking home. Little does he know, at this exact time, Falstaff members are spinning the block. Then at 11 p.m. as he's approaching Dufferin Street, a car pulls right beside him. They roll their window down, they begin yelling at the man, and then when they see him turn around, they realize exactly who it is. Oh my goodness, it's Top 5's little brother. So sadly, without hesitation, they begin blowing. This was the blow of all blows for Top 5, his little brother gone for no reason just like that. And to make matters worse, an alleged Falstaff member named Clutch would constantly go online and make fun of Foolish. He would allegedly post videos on his stories stepping on grocery bags over and over and over. So as you would expect, Top 5 was devastated, hurt, and angry all at the same time. Despite now living the good life in LA with Drake, Top 5 now had an itch to get revenge for his brother. First, the man who trolled Foolish would lose his life while walking in his project.
And the life they took him away. Yeah.
A mother in grief after the death of her 16-year-old son in the apartment building where they lived. She says she heard the gunshots.
Every time I come out my hallway, when I see the stairway he died, you know, I feel something and my heart is bumping, I'm shaking.
Last Thursday, Hanad Abdullahi was gunned down in an apartment at 30 Falstaff Avenue.
Hanad was a good kid. He had so much ambition, so many things to look forward to. And his life was cut short, all because he lives here.
In a community that has seen shootings before, today residents outside 30 Falstaff expressed frustration at what they say was a slow response by security.
They have been telling me exactly that it took that hour to the police to arrive.
Whether or not Top 5 had anything to do with this, we don't know, but what we do know is that GGG were on a mission to avenge the loss of Foolish. So I guess it's safe to say that this was GGG's get back.
Is that an assumption or who knows?
But for him, no amount of revenge was ever enough, and sadly, he would take it way too far. That takes us to January 30th, 2021. It's a freezing cold Saturday night in Toronto, and Top 5 is back in town. And on this night, he has no plans of kicking back or turning up. Instead, he wants to put in work. It's time to get some more revenge, so at 5 p.m. he gets picked up by his friend named Emmanuel. He hops in his gray Mercedes, and allegedly this is when he begins planning a hit. Then together they head to the ops territory, the 20, 30, and 40 blocks of Falstaff Avenue. They spin around the blocks for over an hour looking for rivals, but they don't see a soul outside. Top 5 is now increasingly frustrated, so he comes up with a second plan. He allegedly tells the driver to drop him off, let him run through the projects, and then he's gonna text him to tell him where to pick him up. So at 8:45, Top 5 hops out and begins walking through the ops section. Then finally at 9 p.m. he sees somebody walk out of a building and instantly he's on him. So he allegedly walks up to the man and makes a terrible decision.
Like, you don't even know if
He then texts the driver to pull around the building, he runs to the car, and they drive back to his apartment.
But here's the problem. Nigga, y'all are just hitting anybody that comes out of a building. Like, nigga, you don't even know if that nigga bang. You don't know who he associated with. None of this shit. Y'all not doing no research before y'all go op hunting. This is crazy. You're not hunting ops. You're just hunting people. Like, what the fuck? Like, and even then, not even in theory. Like, in reality, nigga, you're not hunting ops at all. You're just hunting down other people. It's ridiculous. But if you get into the mentality of these nut ass niggas, then you ain't even op hunting, brother. You're just shooting anybody indiscriminately. Like, get off the streets, please. Fuck.
Thinks he just scored on a Falstaff member, but sadly that's not the case at all. Yet another case of mistaken identity in the streets of Toronto. Hashim was not a member at all, instead just a regular student who happened to live in the project. I'm not exactly sure whether Top 5 cared or not, because the rivals did do the same thing to his brother. Either way, this was a major case in Toronto and police would eventually figure it out. They would officially issue an arrest warrant for Top 5, and this is when he decided to go on the run. He was now ducking US Marshals while running around the city of Los Angeles. He's like, peace, catch me if you can, when of course they would eventually catch him. On October 7th, 2021, he'd eventually be arrested by the Los Angeles SWAT team. And in everyone's mind, Top 5 was completely cooked. Now as a result of this, you'd think that Drake would want to completely distance himself from Top 5, at least publicly. But nope, instead he would buy him the most expensive lawyer in Canada by the name of Gary Grill. Regardless, this seemed like an impossible case to beat. They had his location through his phone, they had a motive, and of course they had all of the self-incriminating social media posts.
But
this is why everyone assumed that he would definitely be locked up for life, and you'll see, but we'll get there. In the meantime, let's focus back on Drake and what this all means for him. Now without his self-proclaimed top shooter and G-Way and GGG being locked up, Drake now has no protection in Toronto. Or at least that's what it seemed like from the outside looking in. Now if he decided to stay in LA full time, this really wouldn't matter, but Drake really wanted to go back to Toronto. By this time, he had already invested millions of dollars into his new beautiful mansion, so now he was committed to living full time in the six, meaning that he needed some real muscle in the streets. And little did people know, Drake still had one crew left that was rocking behind him. And just like that, we're introduced to Drake's final, but probably most prominent gang ties in Toronto. That introduces us to Reps Up, which really isn't a classic gang. Instead, it's a collection of various hoods in Toronto, united to cause massive damage in the streets.
That's cool, but it's
headed by crash-outs like Drake's close friends Fif and Baka, these guys are nothing to play with. And as far as Drake's connection to them, well, everyone believes that Chubbs was the introduction. And just like that, Fif and Baka became major parts of OVO, with Drake referring to them multiple times in songs. To the world, these were just random shoutouts by Drake, but to the streets of Toronto, these guys were like mini King Vons. Especially Fif, as this guy, well, you'll see. He was definitely one of them ones, and unfortunately he was blamed for a very bad incident in the summer of 2017. July 23rd, 2017. It's a hot summer evening in Toronto, and a woman named Rochelle Lewis is celebrating her 28th birthday. To do this, she hosts a massive barbecue in her backyard with over 200 people in attendance.
I'm gonna give it a stat, bro. It seems like Drake's getting kindly extorted. I think he's not calling no shots, nigga. Niggas, he just said, those guys look tough. Let's pay them. That's what it seems like. I'm gonna keep it a stat. Like, I don't even feel like there's any genuine friendship or none of that shit. It's like, nigga, all I heard you was like that. Here's money. You know what I'm saying?
The barbecue goes well into the nighttime with good music, good vibes, and good food. That's until midnight when allegedly Fif shows up. While walking around the backyard, he allegedly sees somebody that he had recently gotten into an altercation with at the club. The specific man is sitting next to Rochelle with his arm around her as they're laughing together. Then out of nowhere, all they hear is bang.
Wow.
2 men are dead and 1 woman is in serious condition at hospital following an early morning shooting in the Scarborough area in the Morningside and Shepherd area. Now, it's tough to imagine, but up until just a few moments ago, this was an active crime scene, and most of this block was entirely boarded off from media or even pedestrians and vehicle traffic coming through. Police have just removed the police tape, and they are now continuing with their very active investigation. They're looking for a suspect or suspects. Trouble is, they're not quite sure who they're looking for just yet.
She has since been upgraded to serious but stable condition.
The 2 deceased are 33-year-old Ronaldo Cole and 30-year-old Dwayne Campbell, both of Toronto. Both are known to police, although they won't say in what capacity. Now, we spoke with one of the owners of the home, and she confirmed that her daughter is the 3rd victim and remains in hospital. She didn't know the deceased, but police say they were invited to the party. She also didn't know how or why the shooting began. Police say they are still trying to gather those facts, too.
2 lives lost and Rochelle paralyzed. Everyone wanted his head. And that takes us to September 14th, 2017. It's 2:30 in the morning in Reps Up G-Way territory, and Fifth is hanging out in his project. In particular, he's hanging in the lobby with his friend on his building on Kennedy Road. Then at 2:45, two masked men in black hoodies walk inside the lobby. For whatever reason, Fifth plays it no mind, as it's pretty regular to be walking around masked up in his hood. And just as he predicted, the men walk right by him and into the stairwell. The men then exit the building from the back after realizing that wait, that was Fifth. So instantly they walk down the street to their white Ford Focus, grab their blicks, and return to the building. Then from outside the building, they start dumping at Fifth. Bam! As Toronto police describe it, the incident was 100% targeted, even overkill, as they say that the suspects dumped over 50 times into Fifth. This had to be something, and I think we know what that something was. Either way, this was a major blow to Drake, as he and Fifth had become very close friends. And most importantly, this was yet another street war that Drake was now attached to. Pretty much all of his friends in Toronto had serious ops in the city and were destined for something to happen to them. Fifth was Drake's biggest crash out, so for something to happen to him meant that it could happen to anyone. Basically by association, Drake had inherited the ops of G-Way, GGG, and now Reps Up. All of the bloodshed in the city involving his friends, and sadly it didn't look like this could end anytime soon. So to all of you out there who thought that Drake's street lyrics were cap, I hope this video showed you that he had real situations in Toronto and many of his lyrics were actually real.
Nigga, please. Yeah, about as real as Team Jordans, nigga, the fuck.
But now we take an exit from the streets of Toronto and we enter all of Drake's beef in the rap industry. As we all know, Drake has been a very controversial figure in the rap industry since probably around 2011. He's beefed with rappers like Common, Swiss Beats, Tyga, Chris Brown, Nav, and of course Meek Mill, who he obliterated. Oh, and not to mention Pusha T, Kanye, DJ Drama, Joe Budden, The Weeknd, Rick Ross, Childish Gambino, XXX, Future,
oh, now you go mention
Jay-Z, Tory Lanez. Damn, this list is long. For whatever reason, everyone had a bone to pick with Drake throughout his career, mostly to do with women, but also to do with those who think Drake moves like a slime. However, after all these beefs, Drake seemingly came out victorious after every single one. That would of course be until 20.
Hey, this nigga Swamp Story is a meat muncher. He said he won every single one. Now, most of the beefs, he didn't respond to. Like, a lot of the niggas he named, he didn't respond to. But nigga, he didn't make a better song than X. That Kiss My Teeth was ass. So, X won the Song Wars. Stop playing with that nigga. Rest in peace, X. Stop playing with that nigga. Pusha T smoked this nigga boots. Does anybody remember any lyrics from Duppy? No, seriously. No, for real. I bet you remember the story of Adonai. Now, what are you talking about? You're a meat muncher. You munch meat. It's simple. What the f is he talking about?
2024, when Kendrick Lamar would absolutely destroy him. The rap beef has been covered like a million times, but I guess I'll go over the basics. Basically, Drake and Kendrick had an ongoing feud dating back to like 2013, but nobody really picked up on it. There were subliminal disses here and there, but because nobody actually said each other's name, it never really picked up any traction. That would of course be until April of 2024 when they started publicly going back and forth. Diss song after diss song after diss song, they were cutting deep and nobody really knew who was winning yet. Then comes May 4th when Kendrick.
Bro, this nigga just lying. I can't deal with the lies. They were going back and forth and nobody knows who was winning. Yeah, if you suck dick. Like, if you suck dick, yes. Like, you don't know who was winning. What the fuck are you talking about? Bro, no. Just look at the Art of War. Look how we... Look how... Shut up. Shut the fuck up. This shit was over when you fought it. Like, nothing Drake said had any substance compared to what Euphoria did. Like, nigga, shut up. They predicted the whole battle in 6 minutes. Shut the f up.
Kendrick drops the haymaker of all haymakers. Not
shit,
Like
bro.
Us, the biggest song of the year and possibly the biggest diss song of all time. Now, many people think that this is the end of Drake's career. I don't know about that, but it definitely hurt him. But all of this is not what we're here to talk about. What we're here to talk about is that 3 days after the diss, something tragic would happen at Drake's mansion. May 7th, 2024.
A shooting outside music star Drake's Toronto mansion has left a security guard seriously wounded. Right now, investigators are looking for the gunman. Police are using video footage obtained at the scene to investigate the 2 a.m. drive-by shooting. Security guard was shot in the chest. Is hospitalized in serious condition. It is unclear whether Drake was home at the time. Toronto police acknowledge there is a rap feud between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, but say it's too early to determine.
Thankfully, Drake's security guard was okay, but regardless, this was a scary situation. Instantly, everyone started jumping to conclusions like, oh my goodness, the Compton minion did this to Drake. This is what happens when you mess with Compton. Little did these people know, Drake has various street beefs in Toronto that were definitely a part of this situation. Also, what do you guys think Compton is? I'm convinced everyone is stuck in 1992 because these days Compton isn't even like that. And even if it was still like that, do you guys think that it gives you superpowers to go do something in Toronto, a whole different country? Regardless, in my opinion, the shooting of Drake's bodyguard had nothing to do with Kendrick and everything to do with his local beefs in Toronto. And if we're being honest, nothing is gonna happen between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, like, let's just be honest. That would be unless one of Kendrick's squabblers would take a chance on Drake's crew, but Drake's crew doesn't seem too worried about it. And that takes us back to Drake's self-proclaimed top shooter. As you can remember, Top 5 was facing life in prison for a 2021 murder, and based on all of the evidence and phone records and motives, everyone believed that he was cooked. However, Drake was able to buy him Canada's most expensive lawyer, and somehow a miracle would occur.
The murder case against Hassan Ali, better known by his stage name Top 5, ended today when the prosecution stayed the charges stemming from a 2021 fatal shooting in North York. Ali stepped out of the University Avenue courthouse nearly 3 years after he was arrested and charged with directing the murder of 20-year-old accounting student Hashim Omar Hashi, who was gunned down in his car at 40 Falstaff Avenue on January 31st, 2021.
I feel like Shohei Ohtani. I feel like a baseball player, superstar.
The murder case collapsed Monday morning before the Toronto rapper was set to stand trial in front of a jury when a judge excluded the key evidence his counsel, Gary Grill, calls entirely circumstantial.
The way that Mr. Ali was charged in the first place was as a result of his lyrics. It was a result of the videos that he was putting out there. It's a result of his medium as a drill rap artist that attracted the attention of the police.
And if I bring this gun now, you better talk low.
Grill says the Crown.
Bitch, I'm not listening to this shit. Oh, there's 6 minutes left in this video. I don't know if I'm gonna finish this last 6 minutes. I really don't. Nigga, Swamp Stories that piss me off. Like, bro, he needs to get off his knees. For the love of God. It's not healthy, brother. It's just not. It's, like, bro, it's not healthy, bro. Damn.
Crown also alleged Ali was the mastermind of the 2021 shooting and was in the backseat of the suspect vehicle.
According to the Crown, there was somebody in a backseat of the car wearing a gray tracksuit.
Ali, who was 22 at the time of his arrest, was taken into custody in Los Angeles 8 months after the fatal shooting in North York and charged with first-degree murder.
Shout out to the Toronto South Detention Center for the hospitality.
He also spent time in Milton's Maplehurst complex, where in 2023, he managed to record a music video from behind bars, triggering an investigation. Ontario's Solicitor General.
Bro, he pulled a hop-out blick. This is crazy, bro. He really pulled a hop-out blick. This is insane work. I've never seen no shit like this. Matter of fact, I had hop-out blick. That actually did it before hop-out blick. But nigga still, what the fuck are you doing? What in the take is this?
I was 18 when I bought a gun. 22 when I shot your son.
Outside the courthouse, Ali denied any gang involvement and thanked a supporter.
And shout out to my boy Drake, man.
As for the 20-year-old who was killed,
RIP, I'm an innocent man. Hope they find whoever did that. I'm an innocent man, you know what I mean?
Allegedly.
Just like that, Drake's top demon is back on the streets. Now you'd think that after nearly getting life in prison, he'd want to lay low and change around his lifestyle. But again, we're talking about Top 5, Toronto's biggest crash out. And instead of laying low and changing his image, as soon as he gets out, he begins threatening Kendrick Lamar. First, he goes on livestream with DJ Ack, and he says that he needs Kendrick Lamar dead.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. My name is Hassan Ali.
Pleasure, brother.
You watching this? I beat a first-degree murder 2 days ago. I haven't slept ever since. I prepared the little things, everything for my boy Kendrick. I want to greet him. I want to greet him so bad, man.
Kendrick come to the 6th. Kendrick say about to book a show. He say about to shut the place down. Still.
DJ Academics, please, for the love of God, get off your knees. Like, nigga, get off your knees, get off the alcohol, get off the chicken nuggets. Nigga, you McDonald's built body mother. Holy. Poster boys of that shit.
Sure?
Probably gonna be with all the police.
No, even he's with the police. He's done. He's done. He ain't coming. He ain't coming. Metro Boomin too.
It's a no-fly zone,
Yo,
man.
Metro Boomin, man, I see what you're trying to do, my boy, man. Don't do that, man. Don't do that. It ain't. Hold on, Ack. It ain't safe, Metro.
I've been hearing some. Yo, does the GGs still run the 6th? Does the GGs and the Watson still run this? I just want to know.
Yo, we expanded like the WNBA. You know how the WNBA got a new Toronto team? Oh, get HOC now. There's 16-year-old boys. I just came on, bro. I just came on. I seen a 16-year-old boy that told me I can't wait to see Kendrick. Just say home 5. It's on me. I don't gotta do the dirty work.
No, yeah.
For once. Usually it's me behind that. Yo, listen,
I've
man.
never seen
I just want 2 people right now. I'm not, it's not a threat. I'm just looking for Metro Boomin and Kendrick Lamar. I'm doing my homework right now. I'm doing my task on them. Nothing incriminating. I'm just looking for.
If you ran to Metro Boomin or Kendrick, what would that?
Metro Boomin 101. I don't want no weapons, nothing. I'm knocking the fuck.
We're putting a bag on that fight stuff.
Kendrick,
sleeping in first round.
You passed the border. You passed the border, man. Chubb's calling me. You passed the border, man. You passed the border, man. I am Drake Shooter. 2024, I am Drake Shooter.
You don't know Broski's in Drake's ball league, eh? He's the starting shooting guard, man.
Listen, ain't nobody doing nothing dumb to Drake no more. Pedro, so that's all I gotta say. I'm home. And ain't no come to Toronto. Kendrick, your band.
Damn.
I need your band. Should have blew your head off when I was with Draco the Ruler.
Oh,
Was it 400?
He's not here with old Jeezy and them.
Long live Draco the Ruler. No, he ain't blessed me. He ain't blessed, man. He's switching on Drake.
Switching on Drake?
He's switching on Drake, yeah, man.
YG switching? So YG 400 from the West Coast. You think he's switching on Drake?
Where's Champagne Poppy? Yes, yeah, big up Champagne
Send
Poppy.
me the link to the audio.
Yo, shoot us home. Big up Champagne Poppy. Yo, hit us home. Big up Champagne Poppy. Your bodyguard is home.
Top 5 makes some bold statements, and clearly he's not scared of the Compton squabblers.
Are you not scared?
Scared of what?
Kendrick?
We got money. Kendrick Lamar.
Yo, you're scared of Kendrick?
Tell him come to Toronto. Swiss cheese.
What happened if he comes to
I'll get the
Toronto?
low, put on my Nike Tech Black. Tell YG get us a driver. Put the window down, it is what it is. Get some fresh air. You know?
Brother, this nigga just described doing a draw bar, which also it has to be the softest way to ever take a nigga out the game ever in life. No bad. By the way. Just like nigga. You're not even gonna walk a nigga down. You said, yeah, well, I'm a hop in the V. Collateral damage ass niggas.
Drive by King. Drive by King.
Yo, where's Drive by King? Drive by King's right there. We can't even do Kendrick Lamar on feet. We gotta make Drive by King.
Do you guys
Which would symbolize that you're a bitch. We can't get up close to him. We have to shoot from a distance. They smell like pussy. That's the end of the video. Clown time. This whole video was clown time. Ridiculous. Dick eatery, glazery, whatever you want to call it. Nuttery. The nigga was on his knees 88% of the video. Either it's top 5 sucking dick or it's Swap Sword sucking dick. You can pick one. I don't care. This is disgusting. Like, bro, this should not be allowed on YouTube. Nigga, this is basically porn, my nigga. This nigga, like, bro, I'm sorry, my nigga. Damn, you need help. That was the end of the video. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share the video, share your thoughts on the video in the comment section below. Hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date when I drop videos on this channel. I'll catch you in the next one. No more swamp stories. That's on God. Stay safe, y'all.
Everything I'm seeing, I achieve it, bitch, you best. Everything I'm seeing, I achieve it, bitch, you best. Everything I'm seeing, I achieved it, bitch, you best believe it. It has been my Nintendo switch legit though, kick it with my kinfolk. Haters just be talking, so I really do not need their info. Yeah, their info. Yeah.